based on the vote in the House, what do you think about as this heads to the Senate? What should be done and where this thing ends up?
Oh my gosh. Well, this has been maybe the biggest story captivating my generation for the last several months. So I've loved staying up to date with all of it because there's so many moving parts. But you're right. There was a vote in the U.S. House of Representatives that honestly kind of came out of nowhere. It's a different bill with the idea of banning TikTok or like trying to force a sale than the one we've all been tracking for the last several months that originated out of the Senate called the Restrict Act. Both I have severe problems with, but we can come back to that.
Okay.
And now this vote from the House is actually being tied up a bit in the Senate. So I don't know if it's going to pass the entire Congress and make its way to Joe Biden's desk. But if it does, he has confirmed he will support the bill. He will sign it immediately. Which is a big change of pace, I think. Everybody is a little surprised and shocked who aren't intimately involved in politics every day, because it kind of feels like a big pendulum swing that Joe Biden, of all people, who has been using TikTok to campaign and has been using opportunities to bring TikTokers to the White House and talk about how important their platform is and why their voice as independent creators matter, is supporting a TikTok ban, whereas Donald Trump has now come forward and said he would not be in support of this because it would only empower companies like Meta. The data question.
But here's what I think is getting lost in the discussion. It is not a ban. I mean, I have harkened back PTSD to my days at the podium when I was like, it's not a ban, but this is literally just making sure that it's not the Chinese that own it. India's had equal concerns over this. This is literally saying, great. And there are entities that want to buy it and maintain it as a U.S. company. We do this all the time with national security interests, where we ensure that other countries, particularly the ones that don't like us, that want to defeat us, can't own certain things. They can't own broadcast. I mean, it wasn't even just our enemies. Rupert Murdoch couldn't buy Fox until he became a U.S. citizen. So we do this all the time. And every one of these arguments to me falls flat. Okay, there's a bunch of people. Well, number one, if we have U.S. ownership, then nothing changes. It's just who owns it. Facebook. Okay, if you have problems with Facebook, go after Facebook. I don't have a problem. I'm not saying this is the answer to every problem, but TikTok is different. It is a tool of the Chinese government to get our data, to influence our people, to interfere with our election. The head of the director of national intelligence said they will interfere again in this election. Well, to me, all these other issues are tangential, meaning we can keep solving more problems. There's not just one issue. Why not at least solve this?
Well, first, let me just ask you, Sean, do you know much about how our data for TikTok is processed as American users of the platform already?
I know what they say, but we've already had leaks. That's a fact. It's already leaked into Chinese hands. Whether or not the government of China has access to it or not is technically unproven, although I would argue that anything that leaks into China, the government has access to. But the bottom line is, I know about Project Texas, I know about Oracle, but the bottom line is that by law, Chinese companies gain access to every entity that operates. And so ByteDance owns it. There is no question about that. And so my point is, why are we risking it? As opposed to just saying, great, you want to operate, let's do this, but let's make sure it's at least U.S. ownership.
I would love to live in this utopian opportunity where any company that's based in the United States and is owned by a United States citizen is not also selling out American data to the CCP. But I guess that argument and perspective really falls flat for me because we have countless documented examples of Meta selling your data directly to the CCP.
Okay, but see, this is again.
Hang on, though. It doesn't stop with just Meta. Airbnb is selling your data to the CCP. If we really cared about protecting Americans from the CCP, I'm having a really hard time understanding why it all falls down to this one app, that there is no documented evidence of the Chinese government really taking advantage of your email address for American citizens, but we're allowing them to fly spy balloons over our country and buy millions of acres of farmland. I guess I just have an inherent distrust of when our Congress, who can't agree on anything, even down to the definition of a woman, all of a sudden says they care about protecting Americans from China. But China has infiltrated our college campuses. China has infiltrated all of the American-based social media platforms that we use every day, who also interfere with United States elections. By the way, look at the Hunter Biden laptop story. Facebook has said they're going to censor any overtly political post going into November. if we do sell to an American company, who can afford to buy a platform that 170 million Americans and 2 billion people worldwide are using? Probably only Google or Meta, who are selling your data to the CCP. So I just find this really circular, I guess is the right word. And I don't really buy this idea that it's about our data security.
So a couple things. Number one, there are several entities. Stephen Mnuchin's putting the group. Susquehanna says that they might buy it. KKR says that they could buy it. I mean, so let's put that aside. Two, as I said at the outset, I don't think this is a silver bullet for solving problems. I agree with your concerns about Meta and Airbnb, et cetera. But that doesn't mean you don't stop one because there's others doing it. You do one, then you go to the next, you go to the next, you go to the next. I agree with you on farmland. I agree with you on the spy balloon. But I guess my point is there's something very inherently different. China's open about the fact that they are building a data profile on every single American. That's a stated goal. It is unequivocal. It's a fact. So there's a big difference.
Do they really need TikTok to do that? I mean, they manufacture all of the devices that we use every day. I'm pretty sure if they wanted our email, they already have it.
Isabel, I say this every day on the show. I am appalled at what is going on manufacturing-wise, PPE-wise, drug-wise, yes. And that's why I'm saying I don't think this is the problem. Then you walk away. But I hear excuses and from every lawmaker about why we can't do this, this, and this, and this. So if this is just the first step, that's all I think it is, then fine. And then there's 50 other steps that need to be taken. Currency, manufacturing, labor, environmental. I agree with all of it. But I feel like every time that we come close to something, someone gives it a reason why we can't do X. This is one step. With respect to it's not just the collection of data. It is what they're doing with it. Look at what they're showing. And I know this is something that, I mean, the images, the narratives that they show Americans are not what they show in China. This is not a platform where they go, see, we just let people do this. It is being used to shape the data is one thing. The weaponization of it is another. I mean, I was going to talk to you about this, but this is a great segue. I mean, the young people now think that socialism is cool. It's got a positive rating when you ask kids about socialism versus say democracy or communism. What I can think of no other way than what's going on in social media that is teaching them this, that somehow it's cool to be a fan of socialism.
I am so glad you brought this up because I think actually data aside, which absolutely we need to be taking action against China on. I don't think there's anybody who would disagree on that from a logical and good perspective. You're very immoral if you would disagree with that. But more so on this idea of weaponizing algorithms and covertly using this Trojan horse of social media to take over American culture and change our values and our way of life. This is what I hear more often than not about TikTok. And really logically thinking about this, I'd first of all be really curious to know who we're polling to say socialism is good, because that is overwhelmingly true of millennials, but millennials are 28 years old and older at this point. Kids, Gen Zers, and this is the premise of my entire book, are actually having a massive pendulum swing in the other direction. 17-year-old boys are over 70% wildly politically conservative, the most they've been in 50 years. And if you look at exit polling from 2018, 2020, and 2022, Gen Z, only the oldest of us who can vote at this point, are trending significantly more with Republican politics, conservative ideas and values, and very conservative candidates as well. So I think socialism as a good concept is a little bit up for debate. But this weaponization concept, I hear this all the time. And my one challenge to you, and we might disagree on this forever, and that's okay. Disagreement is a good thing, is that we don't need China to use a social media platform, any social media platform, whether that be TikTok or something else, to covertly destroy American culture from the inside out by quote unquote weaponizing an algorithm. We see what happens on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, which has the biggest pornography problem, by the way, of any social media platform. It's Twitter, not TikTok,
really?
which I find fascinating. Yeah, do the research on this. It's just disgusting, to be honest with you.
Can you just explain that? But I honestly, like, I've never heard that before. When you say, do people then, is it they're tweeting a link or do they tweet photos?
Videos, photos. I mean, you can search any trending topic on Twitter, and if you scroll long enough, you will watch obscene content scrolling through. As a platform, they've said repeatedly they will not censor pornography because it's considered freedom of speech. But I mean, kids are using Twitter regularly. So this is a really frightening reality and a bigger concept in terms of what the adult film industry is doing to our country. But even outside of social media, are we not seeing what's happening inside of American classrooms with American teachers trying to trans our kids? Are we not seeing what's happening inside of the American church with American pastors saying Jesus was non-binary and reciting the Sparkle Creed on Sunday instead of adhering to our heritage as Christians?